Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining. Selamat sore. I've met a few of you before at the EduTech conference last week or the week before last in Bali. So welcome to familiar faces and nice to meet you for new faces. Today we're going to be looking at Prestia, which is powered by Xuno. This is a bilingual student management system, English and Bahasa Indonesia, built on 35 years of Australian school software expertise, which has now been adapted for SPK and Yayasan schools in Indonesia. So the session is a follow-up and deeper dive to a session that we held last week. So there will be some schools in here that have had some engagement with Prestia from last week, but there will also be those that have not had a walkthrough yet with Sylvia. So just a few quick notes before we dive into things with Anthony. So we're offering a 3-month free trial from October with the English interface. The Bahasa Indonesia interface will be ready from January 2026, and we'll share post-trial pricing at the end of today's session. During the trial, onboarding support will be available in both English and Bahasa Indonesia. Regarding data compliance, all school data is hosted in Microsoft Azure in Jakarta with in-country residency, encryption in transit, and at rest. They are a Microsoft partner, certified 9 vendor, and recently also a Phobasia affiliate member. So today's session will be led by Anthony Saka from Xuno, who is a launch manager. And just a quick bit of background about DEPI. If you haven't come across this before, we work with SPK, Yayasan, and government schools to help bring practical digital solutions that streamline operations, support teaching and learning, and improve student outcomes. So this session is essentially a bit of an add-on to the DEPI webinar series tailored for Indonesian schools. So without further ado, what I will do is I'm going to hand over to Anthony Saka. Thank you, Anthony, for hosting today. And he'll provide us with a bit of a deeper dive into Prestia. So over to you, Anthony.
Thank you, James. Looks like we have another person arriving and disconnecting once or twice, but in the interim, Richard, you're the man, and so we're going to show you as much as we can and give you the opportunity to ask as many questions as you can as well during the presentation. So I'll be going through Prestia from beginning to end, explaining a lot more of the functionality in a little more detail as well. And so I will share my screen as well and then kick off a bit of a show and tell. So let's see, just clicking share screen, we got that one. You should be able to see the Prestia demo screen on today, and let's just get straight into it. So Prestia as a complete school management system offers staff dashboards which are customizable, timetable, platform integration, very comprehensive attendance management system, integrated unified calendars, mobile apps as well, not just for staff members, but for students and for parents. And that's a great way to improve communications in the school community, and then also a very comprehensive reporting platform and data analytics platform. And it's basically a single solution for every area of managing a school. We'll cover some of the clients that are using the platform, some of the accreditations, and while we do have time for a Q&A at the end, I do encourage you to ask questions during the demo because we'll be able to answer them during the demo. So looking at the list of modules that are included as part of Prestia's default platform, you can see all these different functions and features: customizable dashboards, unified calendars, detailed attendance with parent communication, incident management to be able to record sick bay visits or negative or positive incidents, event management, those are for excursions or incursions or anything that requires parental responses. Reports can be distributed through Prestia, as well as newsletters, newsfeed announcements, and so on. mentioned timetable integrations are part of Prestia, and a number of other different areas, including things like parent-teacher interviews, which are built into Prestia as well. In terms of communicating with parents or even students, if they're using the app, the Prestia module covers all these different areas. So things like web-based, the staff and family mobile apps I mentioned again, you can download those and install them on your mobile phone. We also have real-time message translations, so that can be converting any notifications you're sending to parents into the language of their choice. We'll show you that in a moment as well. You can communicate in any of these three options: SMS, email, and push notifications, which are within the app, so there's no extra cost for that. Unexplained absence responses. When a student is marked as unexplained absence, the parents can give a reason for the absence in the app, which comes back into Prestia as well. You can accept payments and parent permissions for events, as well as parent forms and questionnaires that they can fill out online as well. Plus a number of other modules that are built into Prestia: room and resource booking, asset management, key management, bus route management. If you want to use that, you can choose to use any or all of these different modules. And add-on modules for Prestia, we've already mentioned a few of them, but data analytics through student maps, forms and document management through the student forms module, which is part of maps, Accelerus reporting for very comprehensive reporting for end of semester or even during the term, reporting back to parents on student achievements and teacher comments. We have a kiosk that integrates with Prestia as well. That's for visitors or students arriving late or leaving early, or cleaners arriving at the school every day. You can keep track of their arrival and departure times through the kiosk. And the budgeting and purchase order module, which may not be that relevant for this particular area, but we can include a single sign-on option. That means teachers don't need to use a different username and password to sign in. All the data is stored securely, as James mentioned, in Jakarta on Azure, and we are accredited Safer Technologies for Schools, which means we've been evaluated and found to be at that level to get the accreditation. So we're going to look at a few of the different areas in Prestia: the staff dashboard, incident recording, sick bay, parent notifications. When teachers or parents or students sign in to Prestia, they will be presented with a customizable sign-in screen. You can have your own school photo images up there, or pretty much anything that you want. School logos go in as well, and you do have your single sign-on option here as well. We're going to look initially at the behavior and well-being side of Prestia, because this forms, every school needs to have a record of incidents, and instead of using paper-based records or putting it into Excel or something similar, you can put them into Prestia, which allows you to set up customizable incident types. And that means positive incidents, negative incidents, and so on, as well as things like sick bay visits. You can also automatically notify not just parents as an incident is recorded, but other staff members, principals, etc. This is a sample screen of an incident that's being entered for this particular student, Chennai Bailey, and you can customize virtually every area of each incident type that you set up. So this incident type allows you to choose a location, and that's a drop-down list that's customizable, what period of the day this incident occurred, what learning area, what harassment type it was, because we're recording a harassment in this particular incident. You can even define multiple students linked to a single incident and define each student's role: victim, bully, bystander, and you can change that terminology as well. Obviously, you can type descriptions in as well, but you can also then set up follow-up actions that result from this incident. It could be detention, it could be contact parents, it could be bring them in for a meeting with the principal and so on. And you can then have notifications automatically sent to anybody once this incident has been entered. So you can notify parents automatically when a sick bay visit is logged or when a positive or negative incident is entered. And this is all completely customizable. Now, we also understand that teachers are not always at their desk when an incident occurs, so they can use the teacher app, the Prestia teacher app, to record incidents as they occur. Not only that, but as they record the incident from the app, it can initiate a message to the parents as well. So you can be out on the the sports field or walking around the classroom or walking around the school, and as soon as something is recorded as an incident in Prestia, it will result in a notification being sent to the relevant people. You can even use the mobile phone's camera to do things like photograph an injury or vandalism or artwork, if this is an award being given, for example, and have it attached automatically to that incident so parents can see the attachment and it's available to staff members years into the future. With all the incident data that you're recording, you have the ability to generate analysis graphs of all the incidents. So around your campus or around your school grounds, you can then work out, well, which group of students are giving us the most number of incidents, or what is the most commonly recorded incident type for any date range, for any type of incident as well, for any year level of students. You can see in this example, we are analyzing incidents for the whole of 2021, and we had the most number of bullying incidents, followed by disturbing the class, followed by detentions. So this is all.
Anthony, sorry to interrupt. Richard has raised his hand. Richard, do you have a question you'd like to ask at all?
Yeah, with these incident reports, how long do they stay in the system? Like, can I track behavior from 1 year to the next, or like, what is the timetable for that?
Sorry, Richard, were you asking how long the incidents stay in the system?
So, like, for example, if I have tracking from grade 6 to grade 12, we have a student that comes through and he has a history of disturbing class or bullying. We can track that for multiple years, or just on a year-to-year basis, student-to-student basis, stuff like that.
Multiple years. All the data is available all the time, so you can generate a report that says, show me incidents from last year, the year before, and the year before in a single graph if you wanted to. Does that answer the question? Yeah.
Thanks. And also, Anthony, another question from Richard. He says, we have a large Korean population. Can we customize the translation feature?
Yes, you can. So Korean, I think, is one of, I don't think it's one of the default languages, but because behind the scenes we use AI to do all the translations, we can add in virtually any language, including Korean. That's no problem.
Thanks. Thanks, Anthony. Thanks, Richard.
No problem. Just continuing with the incident side of things and the analysis side of things, you can click on any of these bars in any of these incident graphs to drill down to be able to open up any incident that makes up that particular period. So if you're looking at a summary of all the negative incidents from last year, you can click on the incident type. In this case, we clicked on the day of the week, and we're saying here that Tuesday, we had 8 incidents recorded, and you can see all the individual incidents shown below that, which you can then open up and see the details. The kiosk I mentioned is an integrated iPad piece of software, so it runs on iPads. You can use your own hardware. This allows you to keep track of who's on the school grounds, not just students, but staff, visitors, parents, contractors. And you can see the kiosk housings can be desktop mounted or floor standing. These can be sourced from within Indonesia as well, but it just is a piece of software that's installed on an iPad that integrates directly with Xuno. And you can see the operation of the kiosk is very easy. If you're a student, you just tap student or staff or visitor, and you will put your details into the visitor kiosk in a very straightforward process. It also allows you to photograph visitors with the built-in camera on the iPad so that you can see who arrived and who left and what time they arrived and left. And it's also a contact list option, which means you can have on the family app or on the teacher app, you can have a QR code generated automatically that you simply hold up to the kiosk camera, and that will sign you in and sign you out without having to touch the kiosk at all. Very handy if you have, for example, regular visitors coming in to help out, or cleaners who you want to keep track of their sign-in and sign-out time. It can even be used to track teacher sign-ins and sign-outs if you wanted to. The staff app for iOS and Android is very easy to use. Here's an example of a screen showing you taking attendance. So as teachers can enter incidents on the app, they can also take attendance amongst many other functions. But it is very easy to use to take attendance on the app. Essentially, you call up your class, you can bulk mark everyone in the class as present or absent or some other absence reason, or you can mark students individually by just sliding their name to the right for present and to the left for absent. And again, this is integrated into Xuno. So this updates your Prestia database as teachers are taking attendance here. So your administration staff can straight away see who's present, who's absent as well. We've actually touched on this already, where we, on the teacher app, can record incidents. Along with the teacher app, we call it the family app, but it can be used by students or parents, depending on whether the school is allowing that. And it's a single point of contact for parents and students, because almost everything can be done via the app. And when we say almost everything, you can see all these different features of the app listed down the left-hand side. So instant messaging is like an SMS. It's one-to-one messaging or one-to-group messaging without the cost of SMS. You can create and distribute newsletters and school announcements. You can see your timetables, so students can see their timetables, parents can see the student timetables. You can look at your calendar items. You can, as a parent, even request a future absence, because if you know your child will be absent next week for a family holiday or a medical appointment, you can request that absence so that on that day, the student is pre-marked as absent. You can also use the parent app to get parent payments or forms that you can create per event type. So these can be forms or questionnaires where you're getting information from parents. They can even be, for example, at the start of the year, you can use it to get updated medical information or updated contact details. You can even get permission for students to partake in events that the school is setting up. You can book and initiate parent-teacher interviews, distribute semester reports, create lesson plans and view those as well, all through the app. Now, the app and the parent portal website offers identical functionality. So this is the parent portal website where you can see there's some events coming up that require approval. You can see newsfeed items, calendar items, payments required, any unexplained absences that you need to be able to record, responses. And all of this is available not just in the parent portal, but in the app as well. And as you scroll down, you can see all the different functions that are available in the Prestia app. And this is customizable, so you can remove or add in your own items as well. And here's an example of the internal messaging within the app that allows you to send and receive messages, so parents can communicate directly with teachers, students can communicate directly with teachers, and teaching staff can communicate with each other as well. And the useful part of this, firstly, there's no cost for this because it's built into Prestia. You can add attachments if you've got photographs of what was happening at a particular event or in a classroom. And you also have a permanent record in Prestia of all these communications. So you can go back and look at any interaction you had with parents in Prestia years down the track as well. Sending a notification is very straightforward. You basically click a button that says send a message. You can choose who the recipients are, and this can be from almost any group of recipients. It can be individual parents, it can be groups of parents for a particular year level, primary or secondary family members, and you can choose how the communication is going to go out. It defaults to an internal message within the app, but you can also send an email or SMS from within Prestia and drag and drop files that you want to include as an attachment. So you type in the details of the message, who it's going to, and you click the send button. It is really that simple. And here is an example of a message sent to a parent who has chosen Mandarin as their language. And this can just as easily be Korean or any other language. The advantage here is that parents can also respond to any messages in their own language that will get translated back into English for the school. And what this means is parents don't need to know any language other than their own to be able to communicate effectively with the school. Very, very useful. I mentioned news feed items, newsletters. You can create these newsletters and news items within Xuno. There's a rich editor that you can add images, you can add links, you can add even embedded video clips. And the idea here is that you don't need to then send out separate newsletters, paper-based or email attachments. Everything can be done within Prestia, and you have the ability to limit the audience for each news item. So it might be something just for a particular group of students or particular grade of students, and you can focus the message just to the parents or students in those grades. You can also limit the dates that these are available. So you can set them up, for example, today, but only make them visible to parents next Monday to next Thursday, for example. Parent-teacher interviews are built into Prestia as well, so you can create the parent-teacher interview times and dates and who's available and how long each meeting is going to go for. And you can also embed your link to your video chats. You can see in this example, we've got a Zoom link within the parent-teacher module that you can just click on to initiate the chat from within the app or within the parent portal. And then lesson plans can also be created in Prestia that can be used for teachers who, for example, might be going on leave for a few days next week. So they're preparing lesson plans for the replacement teachers, or they can be viewed by parents online or students online, which means everyone in the school community is aware of what is going to be taught in a particular class on a particular day. This is an example of the parent app or the family app where they are going to send a note for a future absence. So in this case, the parent is choosing the child, of course, but then also choosing the dates that they're requesting the absence, as well as what periods during the day. And once this comes back to the school via Xuno, your school administrators can choose whether to approve or decline that particular future absence. And if it's approved, on the day of taking attendance, they are pre-marked as absent. So the classroom teacher doesn't have to worry about where that student is. It's already been handled by the parent and admin staff, and that saves a lot of extra time and headache trying to find out where that child is. When we're looking at things like events that you can create in Prestia, they can request any of three responses from parents. One is a permission, another one is payment, and the third part of an event is a questionnaire or a custom form that you can create. And in this example, we can see we've created a Year 8 camp. The student's name is Chase Abbott. We can see details such as the date from, date to, where they're going, when they're coming back, and some detail on where the what the event is about, the purpose. And as parents scroll down, you can see there's the ability to collect payments as well as give approval. And as parents scroll down even further, you can see how easily they can give approval just by tapping the approve button. They can tap the fill out forms to start completing the questionnaire that the school has prepared for this particular event, and they can optionally make payment. And you can have any combination of these three items in every event. It might just be an approval that's required for, say, a visit to the zoo, for example, or it might just be a form that you're using to collect student medical details at the start of the year. You can also, with the payments, make them optional or mandatory. And in this example, at the start of the year, we're asking parents to make contributions. 2 of these in this example are mandatory and the rest are optional. And in this case, the parent is looking at this and saying, well, instead of making an $80 an an 8,000 rupiah payment, whatever it's going to be, they have elected to make a $50 payment. And the school has also made installment payments available. So this parent is selecting 6-month installments. And here you can see that Prestia automatically works out the installment dates, works out the installment amounts, and has the ability to now set up monthly direct debits. So it's a great way to set and forget payments that the parent has agreed to, because these will then be done automatically on the nominated date. This is an example of a form that has been sent to parents where we're asking them to check the contact details. So this information is in Prestia and is made available to parents to confirm. And parents can then, in this example, go through and make any changes that are needed. In this case, their mobile number is incorrect. So the parent is going to update this information, and that is going to then send an email to the school so that data can be updated. We don't let parents update this data themselves automatically. Existing medical conditions can be included, authorizations, permissions. This is all completely customizable, and it's all based around our form editor that allows you to create custom forms. On the app here, we're looking at some of the calendar views, and that probably covers all the main parts of Prestia that I wanted to talk about here. I wanted to also mention a bit about the reporting module, and this is something that can be added on or left off, but it is a module that is added on called Centralise and allows you to design your own reports for parents in almost any format, including things like comments from teachers, previous semester results, progress over time. You can see we've got a list of students down here, and as we click on a student, we can type in their comments, we can choose their scores. This is all completely customizable. It can be A to E results, it can be percentages, it can be any scale of outcome that you want. And you can see here we have, for English achievement, we have an A, B, C, D, E outcome, and the student's achievement is highlighted in yellow by the teacher. We also have an example of their effort in English and a comment that can be entered, including using comment banks that can be shared amongst teachers. We can create rubrics in the reporting package. This can be included on reports or just used for analysis purposes. These, again, are completely customizable. And in terms of what can be included on a final report that can be distributed to parents electronically via Prestia, you can see there's some examples here of different graphics that can be included, different scales of recording. Attendance can be included on here. In this example, we're showing their chemistry outcome from year 11, term 1, term 2, all the way through to year 12, term 2, compared to the average of the students in those same year levels. So almost any type of report design that you can come up with can be easily designed. James, was there a question?
Yeah, quick question from Russell. Are the integrations that align with the IB? We are an IB World School, so all of our programs run with that in mind.
Yes, so we have a full IB module as well, and that allows us to report on all the IB learning areas as well. So that is absolutely available, and we've got many different graphical representations of that data as well, such as growth, stretch, and all the other areas of the IB curriculum. So that's absolutely no problem, and that would be set up for you really from the outset. The other bit that we wanted to touch on briefly was the analytics platform, which is called Student Maps. And this is a way that you can bring together all your assessment data from across the school into one platform. So this can bring data from the reporting platform, from any other external assessment platform. It can even be used as a mark book in the classroom to record student outcomes. And then you can analyze those by looking at the color-coded results that, again, are customizable. You can have teachers put comments in against test outcomes. You can add attachments. You can have any type of map, which looks a bit like a spreadsheet, but is very highly optimized for assessment data collection. And this provides teaching staff a single location for all their student data year after year. So this isn't things like timetabling and so on. It is just their assessment outcomes or their test results year after year, which you can then graphically analyze by setting up dashboards or customizable dashboards that you see here. You can track individual student progress over time. You can track cohort performance compared to other students in the cohort. You can look at distribution of results, how many students are at a particular level, lots and lots of different reporting functions. And you have all these different graphical ways of representing this data. Teachers really enjoy using student maps at the start of the school year as well, because it brings all their new students' results and achievements together in one place at the start of the new year. They may not know all the students' relative strengths and weaknesses, but bringing that data together into a view like this means they can see straight away who's a stronger reader, who's a weaker math student, and so on, from the first day of school, because they're looking at their outcomes from the end of the previous year or the end of the previous semester. You can use your maps to show growth and graph growth as well. In this example, we have a student who's below the expected reading level in 24 term 4, still below the expected reading level in 25 term 1, but is showing the highest growth amongst that whole cohort of students. So this gives a tremendous amount of insight into student performance because all of this is customizable for any assessment for any time period. Really, really powerful. So to sum up, Prestia as an all-in-one solution, it basically gives you end-to-end management of your school and allows you to have everything under one platform. In terms of what teachers can do, well, you can record student attendance, enter grades, manage assignments, communicate with parents, and generate progress reports. Your admin staff have got access to all the same information, plus things like payments, school admin reports, manage student and teacher records, fairly basic stuff like a student name and address, all the way down to emergency contacts and so on. From the foundation level, you can look at multiple schools in a single dashboard as well. So you can look at the performance of each school in a foundation compared to others as well. And this allows you to ensure strategic planning is using up-to-date data. You can evaluate principal and staff performance, oversee finances. That allows you to manage all the foundation operations. Principals themselves have obviously got access to everything in just that school, track teacher performance, manage school and parent communication, and generate reports. Parents have got access to multiple different features, as we've seen via the parent app or the parent portal. And students themselves can use Prestia to submit assignments or to download assignments and then submit the completed assignments. And participate in projects and school activities via the events module as well. In terms of who uses Prestia, public schools, private, independent schools, obviously international baccalaureate schools as well. We've got some of the largest schools in Australia using our platform as well. Specialist schools, for students with disabilities, and language schools and music schools. These are all schools who are using our platform, including, it's not actually mentioned on here, but we have, they're called School of the Air. So they're remote schools where you might have a central school hub, but people are doing online learning as well. So that's part of our client list as well. In terms of associations and accreditations, we can see all these different areas. Prestia is a very secure platform as well. So 9 Fabisia, Essential 8, PCI DSS. We're in progress for ISO certification. We haven't had any problems there. We're just going through the process. So you can be confident that Prestia is backed by all these different accreditations as well. Cost overview and limited time offer. James, did you want to take over at this point or find out perhaps if there are any other questions before we go into this?
Yeah, no, firstly, thank you very much for such a comprehensive run through, Anthony. It was very well paced. So thank you for that. I'm just going to open up the floor to any other questions. Rika, Russell, if you have any comments or any thoughts.
Stop sharing there for a moment.
Is there another slide, Anthony, that you have there?
Yes, I'm just trying to get my share back. I'll just share again, sorry. There you go, James. Do you want to talk to that one?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So we are offering a 3-month free trial for schools to start in October. You don't necessarily have to start in October. It could also be November or December. The English version of the platform is ready to go. And as Anthony alluded earlier, there are ways in which we can translate some of the interface, but we will be launching the Bahasa Indonesia version in January. So the base price for the platform is ordinarily for the Indonesian market 2.5 million per year. But for the first 10 schools, we are waiving that fee, and there will just be a per student pricing based on number of students. So 0 to 200 students is 165,000 IDR, which equates to approximately around 10 to 11 US dollars. We've got 201 to 800 students is 110,000, which is approximately $6.72 per student. And then we have 95,000 per student for 800 plus, and that is $5.76. So very affordable for the value I think that you're getting there with 35 years of education, software experience and expertise. So if you'd like to talk more about Prestia, you can reach me. I will follow up from this session with an email to share some more information about Prestia and the promotional trial that we're offering. So thank you very much all for joining. We'll also share the recording of today's session as well over email. If you have any questions in the meantime, please feel free to reach out, james.thomas@depi.co.id. And yeah, I'll be in touch over email shortly with a bit more information.